It's 10, Jim.
It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order for Commissioners Court for May 14th, 2024 in the Polk County Regional Health Building, Suite A. At this time, we would like to ask everyone to please mute all their cell phones and other devices. And we would ask Mr. Gary Force from First Baptist Church in Corrigan to please come forward and lead us in prayer.
Well, thank y'all. It is my privilege to be here today, and I'm the pastor of Mr. Mert, Milt Purvis. He's our commissioner there in the northern part of the county, and one of our faithful people. If you want to find Milt, you can find him on a Sunday morning toward the back of the church. He's there with his family, and I'm honored today to come and represent you guys this morning. Let's pray. Father, we come to you this morning. We come with grateful hearts for all that you do for us. And we're just honored to serve the God of the universe, the one who loves us and gave us Son that we might have forgiveness of our sins. We pray for these men and women today, Lord, as they take care of the business of our county, that you would give them the knowledge and the skills of being able to take care of the business. Thank you for their service to our people. And Lord, we lift up the people of Polk County today as they've been dealing with all the floods, and we pray that the needs that they have will be met. And we pray for these commissioners, Lord, as they help to take care of the roads and the business of the county. Just pray your blessings upon them. Thank you for all they do for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did we have anyone sign up for public comments?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Informational reports. Texas Association of Counties, presentation of employer rewards check for Healthy County Committee. Are they here? I don't see anyone here from TAG. There they are, they're hiding.
Hide in plain sight.
Exactly.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we did bring to you guys your employee rewards check. This is a program that's available to all of the fully pooled members with the Texas Association of Counties and the health pool. The point of this is to help reinvest back in your health and wellness initiatives that you guys have. So for the committee, they will be able to use these funds, whether it is providing meals, to be able to provide anything that you guys need. Again, whether it's a health fair, having any kind of events, employee trainings, things along those lines. So similar to what we did with the elected officials and department heads last year, then you would be able to use these funds for those types of initiatives. So we just wanted to present that with you guys. Again, this is one of the ways that we like to reinvest back into our group, so that way you guys can continue to support that. And then also that kind of leads into your medical plan and just the things that you guys are actually experiencing now that we'll be talking about in a little bit as well.
So you have got me walking like a lunatic.
Okay.
Because that committee was like, everybody needs to walk.
I will take responsibility for that.
You
Moving
can have
is
full
good.
responsibility and credit, whichever side it falls on.
I like it. But yes, they have been doing a lot of great things. I do use them as an example as well with other groups when I am encouraging them to either form a committee, but then also thinking about the things that you can do. It's those small little baby steps. It doesn't have to be something big and grandiose, but having those small little challenges that they offer you guys in lieu of also what we provide through our 11D1 program, that's what's gonna sustain and make that change in the long run, where you guys will continue to see an improvement in your plan performance as well.
So for everyone else, what this does is it helps us with our insurance rates. It helps us, since we're investing in our own health, it helps us keep our insurance rates down. closer to the bottom.
That's our goal. Yes. But yeah,
Okay.
that's what we have, and I will hand this over to
That's
Nicole.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you have item B as well?
Yes.
And you guys this?
So just kind of adding to what we were just talking about, the mid-year review that Orlando is passing you all. This is the opportunity for you guys to look and see how your plan is actually performing. So we're gonna review overall what the claim numbers look like, and then we'll be able to dive in a little bit deeper as well to see what types of claims are coming about, and then again, we'll wrap up with how we can continue to work towards that goal of getting that trend in the opposite direction as well. So this is Orlando Espinosa. He's the employee benefits consultant for you all, and then I'm the wellness consultant as well. I did not introduce myself in the previous agenda number, I'm sorry. But I'm Ashley Carrington Whitfield. So I'm your wellness consultant, and Orlando and I, along with Haley Gajewski, we are your account management team with helping manage your plan.
And so, first of all, thank you for allowing us to come out here and talk to you guys. We really try to just bring you guys the information. You know, obviously, we give you the renewal every year, and you guys, you know, sometimes ask questions about them. You know, and so we try to come out to try to give you guys the information before the renewal comes out, so that we can paint the story before that renewal just comes out, right? The renewal is what the renewal is whenever you don't have the information to back up what that number actually means. So that's kind of what we really want to focus on. So on page 2, where we start off, is just looking at the value that we bring. You know, obviously, you guys have been with us for quite some time now, but you know, we'd like to kind of emphasize what it is that we're bringing to the table. And so when we look at our value that we bring, number one is our size. You know, over 47,000 lives in our pool allows, you know, you guys to go from a smaller group to part of a large group that has the ability to kind of do what we want to do in the market, and we can, you know, pull everyone together, which is obvious. Number 2 is allowing those smaller groups to combine with these larger groups to form a coalition of groups that are all working towards the same goal, right? And then number 3 is our partnerships. We work with, obviously, Blue Cross Blue Shield, which has the largest network across the state. We also, you know, look at all these other partnerships that we have, you know, with Navitus, our pharmacy benefits manager. And so our size and our ability to do what we're doing allows us to pick the best partners and make sure that we're always offering the best options for you guys. As you guys saw last year, we made a move from Voya to Dearborn, which is Blue Cross Blue Shield, on the life products. And that actually allowed us to kind of reduce some of the cost on our medical and dental by putting the life with Blue Cross. So we're always looking at what can we do. You know, obviously, we're out here telling you guys, hey, you guys need to do this, you guys need to do that if you want your rates to come down. But we also take that to heart as well. So we also do our part on making sure that our admin costs are coming down, that we're doing what we can do to help also offset some of the costs for you guys. So the mid-year review, what we do here is, so we're on page 3 now, is essentially just for us to bring you the data, for us to go through and kind of give you a heads up of what's coming with your renewal, you know, a little bit after that. So we'll go ahead and move on to page 5, and we'll start looking at your actual data. So I gave you some plan information here. So you guys have the medical plan 1400. It's a $2,000 deductible, a $6,000 family deductible. Your prescription, you have no deductible on it. Your copays are $10, $30, $50 for those different tiers. So just kind of give you an idea there. My goal that I have for every group of ours is I want to see your rates come down, and I want to see your benefits improve. I want to see your deductible come down while your rates are coming down. And that's really the big thing that Ashley and I focus on. So Ashley has the wellness portion of it. I have the benefits portion of it. However, what happens on Ashley's side affects the benefit side. And so bringing us together as a unit, as one unit, to kind of bring the whole story to you guys, so that way you guys understand the more you do wellness right, those costs are gonna keep going up, right? An MRI is gonna cost whatever, $500 now, it's gonna cost $600 next year, $700 next year. We can't control that, right? Inflation is what it is. We can't control the costs that are going up, but what we can do is we can prevent those claims from happening. And that's really the biggest thing that we can do to help prevent, you know, the prevention is the number one thing that we can do to reduce cost. And that's what we're trying to do with our wellness program. And so that's where we look at the numbers. And so looking at the previous renewal period, which is April through March, versus this most recent renewal period. So you can see you guys on your medical page went from just over 2.4 million to now under 2 million. So we saw a pretty good reduction in claims cost on the medical side, which is fantastic. Also on the pharmacy side, we saw a little bit of an increase, but not enough. You know, when we're looking at your total paid, so you went on the pharmacy, you went from just under 600,000 a year to 767 per year. But the total claims, you're still looking at about a $300,000 less in total claims than where you were. So going from 3 million down to 2.7 million. Your loss ratio, so your loss ratio is how much money you guys pay into the pool versus how much money we pay out in claims. So our targeted loss ratio is 94%. What we do is 94% allows us to build in 6%, or so 6 cents out of every dollar goes towards paying all the admin costs that it costs us to run the pool. But 94 cents out of every dollar is going towards just paying your claims. And it's not just a short, as you guys know, it's not a short-term relationship. We've had this long-term relationship with you guys. And so we look at this relationship as a long-term investment. So we don't just look at what have you done for us lately, right? It's also, well, what's the history? What does the history say? And so when we're looking at your loss ratio, you guys are running fantastic right now. You guys are running at 80% for the last 12 months, which is fantastic. It's well below where we, obviously want you to be. And then 36 months, we're still below the targeted amount, but that then jumps up to 91%. So what that tells me is you guys had some higher months, some higher years, and then this year has really brought down that average, right? And then when we look at your actual renewals, so for the past 5 years, you guys have averaged a 3.8% increase over the last 5 years. Now, when you compare that to the TAC average, our average is sitting at 4.4% for those same 5 years. So you guys have been outperforming what the pool's been doing, which is great. You guys have received favorable renewals. Your rates are looking good. So this is where, whenever Ashley's going to go into kind of the claims, the deeper dive into the claims data when it comes to the wellness and that kind of stuff. But right now we're at a solid foundation, and this is the time where we start building, where we can start making those changes. When we have lower renewals, now we can start making changes to increase, improve those benefits. So I can give you guys options at this time at renewal for a $1,500 deductible versus a $2,000, which would increase your price a little bit. But when we're running well, this is the time to make those positive changes for your employees to get them better, a better benefit for them. And so we're here for you guys to make those changes, to give you those options, to talk about them, to come back out once the renewal comes out and kind of give you all these options that are available. So whatever you guys need, we're here for you. I'm gonna go ahead. Does anybody have any questions on any of this so far?
No.
Well, I'm gonna let Ashley talk a little bit more about those claims.
Okay, so moving over to the next page on page 6. Again, now it's just kind of taking it a layer deeper. So we'll look at the top 3 diagnostic categories, which is kind of the bigger buckets. You will see that you guys had musculoskeletal as your top 2 or as your top 3 for the last 2 plan years. So looking from October of 22 to September of 23. And then also when we're looking at this current plan year, and although we're only going to March, your numbers are looking well. So even when I cut that in half, what you guys are experiencing now, you are seeing that decrease. And so again, that feeds back into what Orlando was discussing with that loss ratio. Also, I want to let you know musculoskeletal and circulatory are both in the top 3 for the pool as well. So it is something that we are looking at, what programs, what initiatives, what resources are available to help address that. And we'll talk about some of those programs in a little bit. When we have newborns up at your top 3, sometimes those are not anything that we can control. We do have some maternity health things that go on, but as we all kind of know, experience, whether it's personal or with family or friends, we never know what's gonna happen within that time period. So we definitely have programs and resources available as families are navigating that new chapter, but again, it's not necessarily something that's preventable. So I don't spend as much time in kind of digging deeper in what are some things that we can again promote. And all the information that I share, that's what is passed along to the Wellness Committee. So when they're thinking about those challenges and they're putting those initiatives out, a lot of that is coming from this claims data. Digestive system did pop up for your top 3 for this last plan year as well. And so we'll look a little bit deeper even when we move into the chronic conditions, as well as to where some of that is coming from. And all of this feeds into the strategic initiatives that I will discuss at the end of the presentation. So for your top 3 chronic conditions, same thing, you guys did see a decrease as well within your spend overall. For this current plan year, the claimant numbers aren't as significant just because it's not a full 12 months. Okay, so I look at it, I see it, okay, we're kind of, where are we at with that? One thing that I try to make sure is that everyone is actually managing their condition. We want you to be able to manage your blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, things along those lines, because that way we're going to reduce, one, the number and the cost for like coronary artery disease, which you guys see popped up last plan year in your top 2. So looking at things along those lines as well, want to have more members that again are managing those lower tier conditions. Asthma is something that is just prevalent in this area, so it is definitely something that we're mindful of. That one deals more so with the environmental stuff, so it's not, again, how much can we actually prevent all of that unless we just put antihistamines all throughout the air. Like, we can't, there's not too much we can do with that. But wanting to make sure that if you do have asthma, you are managing that appropriately. Moving to the next page, this is one area that I do want to spend a little bit more time focusing on. So you can see your top 3 categories when it comes to the pharmacy side. So as Orlando said, there was that increase. Last year, we're looking at the renewal period for your pharmacy spend. One thing that I did notice was the COVID vaccines that has popped up. That is actually, we're starting to see that a little bit more just because they're no longer free. So now the plans are starting to pay for those. So I'm not alarmed, nothing like that, with seeing that as your top 3 at all for last plan year. The one thing that I do want to focus on is the targeted immunomodulators. That is your 2nd tier cost. Now that one, those drugs or prescriptions are going to be specialties. So they're going to be a higher cost overall for the plan, but then also our members. So that is going to be that higher cost tier drug as well. So one, just knowing they're expensive. And also this is a common category that we're seeing across all of our groups because they are expensive. But most of those are being managed for psoriasis. That's usually the condition that falls within that category there. And then with your anti-diabetic medications, we are wanting to begin to see a decrease in that with some of the requirements, or pre-authorizations that we have put in place, so that way we're not having any kind of misuse or mismanagement of those anti-diabetic drugs. We did see a lot of members, unfortunately, not being able to get the prescriptions that they needed just because some of those GLP-1s were becoming more marketed in other areas, and then our diabetics weren't being able to get their medication. So we did put those pre-auths in place to make sure that those medications are actually being used for what they are FDA approved for right now. But know that it is something that we are looking at and monitoring. I just went over a whole bunch of those numbers. Any questions with any of that?
Oh, I gotta say, COVID vaccines sure are expensive.
Yes.
13 claimants and $44,000.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so thinking also about how many doses you have to take with whichever one you use as well. You know, so that is something that we are going to see also more. It's being recommended getting your COVID vaccines on an annual basis plus the flu vaccine as well. So we are going to begin to see that bucket kind of fill up. So it's nice when the government is paying for it. We're not having to come out of our pocket. The next thing is going to be your annual physicals. This is something that we truly do promote. We have seen that the more members just overall within our plan that are getting their preventive exams, that they cost the plan 22% less. So having that annual checkup with your doctor, building that relationship, monitoring those conditions. So that way, if a condition does begin to pop up, whether it's prediabetes or prehypertension, we're able to address and handle those at a lower level for the member, quality of life, and that's the biggest thing. I can talk numbers all day, but at the end of the day, we all want our quality of lives to improve, right? So being able to have those annual exams and having those checkups, that's going to be a huge thing. And so we definitely want to see those numbers and that compliance percentage continue to increase as well. Just to kind of wrap up everything, on page 9, this is going to give you a quick little glimpse of just what has happened within the Healthy County program and those resources that are available. So Arasti, the first thing that's listed on that table, that is our musculoskeletal provider. So that is one area that I think is an opportunity for us to continue to improve. The closest in-network provider or in-person provider for you guys is going to be Huntsville, but they also do have a remote recovery option as well. But for anyone who's dealing with any types of aches or pains, whether it's knee pain, hip pain, migraine headaches, Arasti is a great option. We had them out a couple of years ago to do a lunch and learn, and so I think that's something that we can definitely revisit as well. Wonder Health and Omada, those are going to be our weight loss, weight management programs. Livongo is going to be the program for managing high blood pressure and also diabetes. So that's a good program. You guys are seeing high participation within that for that population who's managing those conditions. MD Live, just a reminder, that is a virtual visit with a doctor and it's completely free. So that number has definitely increased over time, and so I definitely attribute that to your wellness committee getting that information out to your employees as well. The EAP program, that Employees Assistance Program, we have an opportunity to improve participation, but that's pool-wide. Most of our members don't necessarily know about all of the different resources, free resources that come with that, such as counseling sessions, legal and financial services as well. And then just lastly, the rewards program. So the Sonic Boom program was the employee incentive that was available. That was last year. We moved away from them. We're with WebMD1 now. But you can see your employer rewards check. The majority of that money came from having that training last year with the elected officials, appointed officials, and department heads as well. So that's where the bulk of that comes from. But having your health fair and your flu vaccines that you guys offer to employees, that will continue to increase. And as I mentioned, we moved away from Sonic Boom. With WebMD1 right now, we have 53 employees who have an active account. So that's really good, considering that we had one employee complete 3 out of the 4 contests with Sonic Boom last year. So kudos to you guys, to your wellness committee as well, for getting everybody enrolled in that program. So sum everything up that we both have talked about when we're looking at the cost containment strategy. As Orlando said, your plan is performing really well. And again, this is the opportunity to build on that momentum, whether it is looking at ways to improve that benefit package, but how can we continue to make sure that we're seeing those advances as well. So you have your county-specific incentive. I think that's a great opportunity to incentivize employees for getting those annual exams, those preventive checkups that is available, and that's something that we can administer and track on our side, so that way it's not an additional administrative burden for your employees. I talked about the employee assistance program, and that's that educational topic. And then that also just kind of feeds into scheduling those semi-annual trainings as well. And so I just listed some different topics that I think would be beneficial. Again, re-emphasizing that Arasti Lunch and Learn, I think would be a really good option to start off with, considering the cost for musculoskeletal with that.
Sounds good.
All right, tried to talk as fast as possible. The last page, Orlando will go over that renewal timeline, so you guys can be aware of that.
Yeah, so just real quick, board met on May 3rd. They've approved the renewal, so we have that information already. The renewal package should come out next week, so you'll have that information then. Yesterday and then today, we've had renewal webinars going over all the information, so one of them is going on right now, and so I will share the information with you. Our pool need amount is, so what we start with is figure out how much money we have to collect from the entire pool as a whole. and that's what we consider the pool needed amount, so that's either an increase or decrease on the entire pool as a whole. So this year, the average renewal is gonna be 4.6%. So 4.6% is gonna be the average renewal across the board, which is improvement on what we've had the past couple of years. Still not exactly where we were before pandemic, but we're moving in the right direction. And to give you guys your renewal, I can kind of tell you now already, you guys are sitting at 1.5%. So you guys should expect a 1.5% increase on your renewal this year. So as you know, we talked about how well everything's going right now. We start off with that pool unit amount, which is that 4.6%, and then that's basically average, right? And then if you guys are performing better, you get below it. If you're performing worse, you get above it. So because you guys have been running really well, you guys are gonna get about, 3% lower than the average renewal. So as I mentioned before, at 1.5%, this is a great time for us to look at options to improve benefits if possible, or, take the minimal increase. So whatever you guys wanna do, let me know. I'm happy to bring you guys alternates both ways, looking at, improving benefits if we can. But whatever you guys wanna do, we can definitely provide you guys those options. And then if you want me to come out and kind of talk about it, I'm happy to come out and come to court and kind of go over those options with you guys as well.
And I think that's what we normally do. We normally ask for 3 different options for the court to review.
Yeah.
Because also we ask our employees to take a look at it as well. Because that's part of how we got where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys are, the foundation you guys have set with your committee and the things that you guys are doing is leading you to being able to improve things and get your employees, much better benefits. Because that, obviously, we know county is better than any other provider in the space, and we know that the benefits are a huge perk to coming to work for counties. So that's why our goals are always to get you guys the best benefits that we possibly can, so.
Yeah. Well, if you'll get us the 3 options, I'm assuming the court would like to proceed as we have before, where we have a department meeting and employees can participate in the discussion.
Absolutely.
So, if we do that, what I said.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, anybody? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. GFOA. We, each year, Carrie submits a county budget for the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. And we have received this award ever since our first submittal. And this year is not going to be any different, thank goodness. So the county budget is a continuous work in progress all year long. We take notes, we pay attention, we move along with it. And it's also part of our strategic plan for goals. And so individual departments and countywide levels participate in those goals. And so the Polk County budgets from 2007 to 2024 are posted on our website. But we do need to say a huge thank you to Carrie for all her hard work and recognize her for receiving once again. We can't take the credit, I can tell you all that. And along with the auditor's office and all the people who work on the financial side. So, thank you, Carrie, thank you, Louis, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, anyone else. Okay, we do have an announcement about the landfill. It has already been posted for public information. The landfill is currently open from May 13th through the 18th. And the 20th through the 25th, it will be open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. as our residents try to move into recovery and start cleaning up debris and needing to get rid of some of the trash and the debris that Mother Nature has dumped on us, literally, right? So the landfill, so we do thank Republic for helping us in that area. I do have an update. Does any other elected official have information that they would like to share at this time? Okay, I do have an update. All of you all have received the official information, so this is just for for the court to review. But I do have an update from Emergency Management. Needless to say, Courtney's not here. She and her team are still working and trying to help our residents. So to date, we had 174 water rescues that were done by official agencies, which was Texas Parks and Wildlife, our local volunteer fire departments, law enforcement, etc. And that's not counting the Good Samaritan rescues, which we all know was happening along at the same time. At this time, with the ISTAT, with the state of Texas, Polk County has had 239 total submissions. 178 of those were FEMA validated. 61 were destroyed or had major damage to where it's gonna be extremely difficult to recover. 7 were completely destroyed, 54 major, 67 minor, and 48 fall in the impacted category. We currently have, at the Dunbar Shelter, we currently have 22 survivors. And according to them, we have three dogs, but actually we have 4. I was there myself. The Dunbar Shelter will be closing on May 15th, which is tomorrow. And the Red Cross is currently assisting those people with a transition plan so that they can either go to their homes or go to a shelter that is more permanent, that can provide assistance to them. At this time, Polk County has exceeded, we have more than exceeded, the FEMA established public match. We have to continue tracking the storm damage because we have not received an official federal declaration, and the state of Texas has not met the official FEMA declaration stages. The majority of Polk County, so I do have to say thank you to the commissioners and to the staff and the elected officials for Polk County, because right now our public infrastructure has been documented through TDM, through the PSTAT process, and we are at over 90% completed on our documentation. At this time, we have 6 disaster relief organizations that are working in Polk County. Polk County Recovers has been activated, and we work with Center of Hope, and we work in tandem. That's kind of our partnership group that we work with. Center of Hope is the lead agency for any item donations. They also accept financial donations, and they participate with our long-term recovery team in terms of helping people muck out their houses and start the rebuilding process. At this time, one of the things that we have asked is we have asked our residents to go ahead and take their debris and sort it following FEMA guidelines. You cannot put your appliances in the same pile as construction debris. It needs to be separated out because it has to be moved differently into different locations. So electronics have to be separated, appliances, and then construction debris, and then also your organic debris. We are asking them all to go ahead and put it on their accessible roadways, because we are going to activate our debris contracts. It would appear that at this time, during the tornado, we were able to send up a STAR request, and the Department of Transportation helped us picking up some of that debris, but they're a tad occupied with the other 57 counties that also got impacted, and so we are going to activate ours. I do want to say one thing. We have a lot of people that say, well, what's the purpose of me tracking or participating in the ISTAT? FEMA will not come if we cannot prove that there was that level of damage. So even if you have insurance, it's gonna ask you, do you have insurance? But even if you have insurance, even if you consider the damage minimal, if we cannot prove that that damage occurred to that degree or to that level or that intensity, then there's no reason for them to come. It's kind of like calling your insurance agent, and we all complain about our insurance about this time. It's like calling your insurance agent and saying, hey, I have $10,000 $10,000 worth of damage in my house. And they're going to say, I need to see pictures, I need to see documents, I need to see estimates on the repair costs, where are your receipts? It's the same concept. The problem is that with FEMA, the state level of damage for us to get a full disaster declaration is $53 million. It's a lot, but at this point in time, we know that Polk County alone, we're well over 5 million. So we've already met 10% of the state requirement for this event by ourselves. And we know we're sending water down to Liberty as quickly as we can. And we know Harris County and Montgomery County, and none of those numbers are in yet. So we have to do our part. I'm not making any guarantees, but we certainly are very close for a presidential declaration. If we receive a presidential declaration, then our money will be refunded for us to for maintenance of roads and repairs. Our individual residents will receive FEMA assistance as well, but we have to do our part. We have to document. So, please make sure you follow FEMA guidelines. We've been posting those FEMA guidelines out. All of our documentation that comes from the county level is going to have to follow FEMA guidelines if we would wish to have our money returned. Okey doke. Do we have anyone else? Very well, moving on. Old business that we tabled from.
Wait a minute, D.
What's that?
D, the audit presentation.
Oh, well, and I covered up your crowing. Sorry about that, Darla dear.
Yeah, you tried to skip me there.
Yeah, okay, and furthermore, congratulations. I noticed you're crowing about becoming part of Crow.
That's exactly right. We are, Belt Harris Project joined Crow LLP, and a national, well, they're a global company, so they're very large, but they wanted to move into the state of Texas. So they approached us about us joining them and helping them in the whole governmental section and getting that started for them. So we're very excited about the opportunity ahead to get that going for them.
Well, congratulations.
So very excited about that.
I would say it's a feather in your cap, but it's a feather in theirs.
Right. I love that. Love the Crow thing.
There you go.
So I'm Darla Deer, and I brought with me John Carter, who is also was with Belt Harris Project, but our whole team moved over to Crow, so we are both Crow people, and he's also one of your newest Polk Countyans. So he's new to Polk County for about a month now. So
You moved here just in time.
yeah.
Brought all this rain with you? I apologize.
Yeah, he moved off the Brazos up here to the Trinity, so I don't know how that worked, but it looks like they're getting all the flooding down there as well. This time, first of all, I'll start off with saying thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to come and do the audit for Polk County. I love coming back and seeing the people of Polk County. I consider it coming home, so thank you. I want to thank Lewis and all the other departments within the county, because everybody gets a lot of requests from us, from the JP's office, county clerks, district clerks, but we ask for a lot of information to pull all of this together, and I want to thank everybody for all of the information that they provide us. We're going to start out today in the smaller of the two books. I usually don't go over this one. Polk County, this is where you get a single audit. Most of the time in the past 20 plus years, you've had a single audit. I think maybe there was 1 or 2 years that we may have skipped. This year, if you're looking at page 8 and page 9, you also qualified for a state single audit. So that's any time that you received federal grants or state grants over $750,000. That triggers a federal single audit or a state single audit, so you qualified for both this year. So this is basically a list of your federal and state grant programs, and this is only on the expenditure side, so I'm going to point out the ARPA monies that are gonna be on this page, that is on page 8, which is gonna be down at, almost at the bottom, that 3 million. That's gonna be your ARPA, but that is only the expenditure. I don't want anybody looking at that, because everybody knows you got a lot more money that's sitting there. You only recognize the expenditure portion, so the other part is being held in a liability account for the revenue. So I just wanted to point that part out. But that's your federal and state grant awards. All right, now we'll move over to the big book. And I'm not sure who provided that picture, but lovely picture of the lake there on the front of that book. I'm gonna have you flip to page 9, and this is your certificate for the GFO A award that comes in with the audit. So congratulations to Lewis and his office for he has to submit that every year, and so great job on it. It goes hand in hand with the budget award, so great job, Lewis, on that part. And now we are gonna flip.
So you know it's not Lewis.
It's everybody in that
Yes.
department. How about that?
And
It's
the
a
other
team
departments
effort.
help.
It is a
Exactly.
team effort. It is a team effort. And we'll flip over to page 17. This is the page that we consider the most important out of the audit. That's where you've received your opinion. You've received an unmodified opinion. That is the highest level of assurance that that there are no material misstatements and all disclosures have been made to generally accepted accounting principles. So great job on the unmodified opinion. And we'll flip over and look at your numbers. That's on page 40 and 41. Now, I'm going over the few most important pages out of the audit, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have on the audit. If on page 40, I'm looking at that general fund column, you'll see total revenues for the year, $27,457,150. Coming down to your total expenditures, $28,396,101. Then in that next little section where it says other financing sources and uses, you'll see on the transfers out that you transferred out $6.2 million. Within that $6.2 million, that's where you're transferring the different funds within the county. But if you'll slide over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns to the restoration projects, you'll see that transfer you transferred $5,950,000 to the restoration projects fund. So I just wanted to point out that that's where a big portion of that money got transferred to. But that left you with a use of your fund balance of $5,475,694, leaving you an ending fund balance $13,656,012. So still a nice, healthy fund balance even with that use of the $5 million. Let's see, road and bridge. We'll just go down and look at that. That is a combined road and bridge column. So if you look down at that, the ending fund balance for that is $2,155,976. And again, that is a combined number of all 4 of the precincts. So further in the back of the book that we've got it divided out per precinct. This is where that we are looking at your actual expenditures and comparing them back to the budgeted expenditures. So if you're looking in that right-hand column where it says variance with the final budget, you'll notice underneath those expenditure columns that all of those numbers are positive, which means that they all came in above whatever the, or you did not go over budget on any of those areas. So if you're looking over on that page 81, where it says the net change in fund balance, you'll see that variance is of $4,074,284. So that means that with the budget, that's what you came in under your budget. So great job on that part. Whereas if you're looking back at that final column, you'll see that what you had planned to use out of that budget was the $9,549,000, but it actually came back that you actually came in under what you were budgeted. So great job on that part. Now that's the most important part out of the whole reports, but I will be happy to answer any individual questions that you might have on there.
Anybody have any questions? You can also call Darla later.
Yes.
If you need
Yeah.
some explanations, if you need.
Feel
further
free to give me a call.
Um,
Half a state has my cell phone number, so y'all just call. Yeah.
One thing I do want to say that part of it in terms of the budget is that some of these things are very difficult to determine, and so we use a historical information. We don't want to come in and say, oh, we're going to have revenues from sales tax revenue that's $4 million and then be short. So just for the public's information, so we do try to keep a conservative budget to make sure that we don't ever get too far out. And don't worry, Louis and his team
Yes,
will
thank
keep
you.
us,
Yes.
will keep us straight if we do go off the rails anywhere.
And we also understand about those disasters, and that it's just not any way to budget for any of those things
There's
coming
no
in,
way,
so.
no way to do that. Okay, anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations on the.
Thank you, and again,
change.
anybody needs anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. Always happy to help.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Y'all have a great day. Okay, item number 4, old business. A, consider any and all necessary action regarding the request for memorandum of understanding between Polk County and Polk County Precinct 1 Constable for compensation of reserve deputy constable to be funded solely from Constable Precinct 1 asset forfeitures. This agenda was tabled from the last meeting to allow legal counsel to review the change request from Constable Hughes. A copy of the revised MOU was included for your review. And basically what it does is the revision makes it clear that the deputy may be paid from any asset forfeiture funds received by Precinct 1 Constable, rather than just those asset forfeiture funds received through the CTIG activity. The agreement has been reviewed by legal counsel, and there are no questions or problems at this time in terms of legal counsel. Motion to approve, Commissioner
Second.
Dubose, second Commissioner Purvis. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, your consent agenda. You have an addendum on B in the amount of $151,840.58. Does anybody wish to pull anything from the consent agenda? Okay, then there are no changes. I motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Second.
Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Cassidy. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, consider approval of personnel matters as follows. A, personnel management system update. The proposed update included for your review would replace the county's current substance abuse policy. There are standards that apply to employees with a CDL that need to be updated to be in compliance with state and federal regulations. And TAC supplied the template which Human Resources used to prepare the updated policy. It's recommended that this policy be reviewed at least once every 2 years. So we will put that on our rollover review on the calendar. And it was emailed previously. Are there any questions or concerns about the personnel update? Nope.
So moved.
We Motion to approve, Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Cassidy, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 6B, consider any and all necessary action regarding resolution for compensation of Polk County personnel during specified disaster periods. A copy of the proposed resolution is attached. This will allow those employees that work the emergency disaster event between May 6th and May 19th to receive their regular pay plus a separate disaster event payment at a rate of a time and a half. Their hourly rate for any hours actually worked in excess of 40 hours during this period of emergency disaster event duties. Every employee and reserve deputy must submit their disaster timesheet and their activity log on the ICS 214, and they must be submitted to our purchasing at Polk County, which is Nicole. So everybody, all volunteers are encouraged to do the same because that increases the amount of reimbursable expenses paid to Polk County. The activity log must follow FEMA guidelines and TDEM guidelines, and it must include who, what, when, where, why, and how, who completed the activity, what equipment were they utilizing, what was their assigned position, everything. What county vehicles, equipment, or other resources were used. If it's not properly documented, then we cannot get reimbursed. So a copy of that resolution was also included for your review. Any questions about paying people time and a half?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Dugas, any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7. Consider request for revisions and amendments to the budget as follows. A, the FY 2024 budget revisions and amendments as presented by the County Auditor's Office. A copy of the proposed revision number 2024-12 and amendments 2024-12A is included for your review.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Dugas. Second, Commissioner Cassidy. Any questions or concerns? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, consider order authorizing the sale of fireworks during the Memorial Day period of May 22nd through midnight of May 27th.
Don't have to worry about burn ban.
I don't think so.
So moved.
Okay.
It says 29th, you just said 27th.
Oh, I'm sorry. May 22nd,
It says 27th and 28th.
it says both.
No. So we don't.
Okay, so the agenda said May 24th through the 29th, which is incorrect. It should be May 22nd through the 27th. Those would be the correct dates. So, our apologies. Did I have a motion already?
Sorry.
No, thanks.
Jerry.
Commissioner Cassidy, second Commissioner Purvis. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 9, discuss and consider any and all necessary action related to the bids received as follows. Bid number 2024-17, cutting and purchase of timber on tracts of land known as William Jones Abstract 39, track 16-2A, 17-2A, 18-2A, 22-4, and 24-1. We would like an opportunity to rebid on this.
Motion to rebid.
Motion to
Second.
rebid, Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Dubos, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 9B, bid number 2024-18, replacement of fuel tracking system at the maintenance department and Road and Bridge Precinct 2 to be funded from general fund and Road and Bridge Fund respectively. There were some issues. We did receive several bids, but there were some issues in terms of being able to modify them to fit our current equipment. And so we would like an opportunity to reject a rebid to give those same people an opportunity to see if they can accommodate us.
Motion to approve the rejection and rebid.
Okay, your vote, Commissioner Dubus,
Second.
second Commissioner Cassidy, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C, bid number 2024-19, concrete pad at Maintenance Department to be funded from Maintenance Capital Outlay Buildings, which are budgeted funds. The deadline for the bid was May 10th, and Nicole Reeks emailed all of you all the summary of the bids received, and a copy will be provided at Tuesday's meeting. So who do you all wish to accept?
Oh, is that the concrete pad?
Yep.
Well, I think me and Jay spoke about that, and I think we're gonna go with Dominic, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, I need a copy of that bid so I can call the amount out.
Oh.
Just need the name of it.
Yeah, I just need to be able to say the total amount of the winning bid for the record. This one?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, the bid is going to go to J.M. Domini Construction, in the amount of $15,000. That's your recommendation?
That's my recommendation. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Dubus.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Cassidy. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, discuss and ratify approval to amend agreement with Komatsu for courthouse architecture services to include basement restroom wall replacement and vapor blasting of existing white coating on the cast stone. The amount of the change order is $63,385.98, which is covered in our unforeseen conditions contingency fund, leaving a balance in that fund of $320,462.52. The change is necessary, and a delay in approval would cause further price increases like everything else. Commissioner Purvis, do you wish to comment?
Not really.
Would you like to make a motion to approve?
Not really, but I will.
Okay.
But,
I like to hear
and
your
hopefully,
comment.
like I say, these unforeseen conditions, they say we can go back to the historical commission with them, and if it's, I don't know if we got enough documentation or whatever, we might actually get that added to our deal.
We
And we got
have,
several of these unforeseen conditions that we're going through over there, but
we have been documenting that. We have been documenting the unforeseen circumstances, and we are also going to go back to them because they actually awarded additional funds to the round before us. But they have not given additional funds for COVID and for increase in prices to our group. So we are gonna go back to them on that, and we are also gonna go back to them and request additional funds, because after all, the location of the elevator, which is one of the things that they have complained about continuously, the location of that elevator was placed exactly where the Texas Historical Commission said it must be placed.
yes, ma'am.
So, we're gonna go back to them and request additional funds, and we have already discussed it with our legislators as well. So, everyone is aware.
So moved.
So, an unhappy proposal comes from Commissioner Purvis. Do we have a second? Commissioner Dubus, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, discuss and consider any all necessary action related to requests from the district attorney's office as follows. A, install phone and internet connections in room number 253 at the Judicial Center to be funded from general communications budget. So with the remodel of the Judicial Center break room, which was previously approved, the old victim impact room in the DA's office is going to be redesigned as office space, and it will require new internet and phone conditions to be installed. So they will need to be, maintenance will have to go in and cut some holes. We can assure the Texas Historical Commission that there will be no holes in historic walls. So do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Commissioner Purvis?
Second.
Commissioner Cassidy, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11B, purchase of office furnishings and equipment for new office space not to exceed $4,950 to include method of funding. So the DA's office is requesting up to $2,500 to buy 2 new desks, 2 office chairs, and 2 conference room chairs for the new office space in room 253. They're also requesting 2 new desktop computers, scanners, and printers for this office space, which should not exceed a total cost of $2,450. And since it was not included, since that office space was not included in the 2024 budget, then none of these things. The remodel was funded from maintenance capital outlay building. The furnishings may be paid from the general operations outlay office and equipment, which currently has a budget of $5,000 and has not been utilized yet this year. So I need a motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Commissioner Cassidy,
Second.
second Commissioner Dubus, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C, pay equivalent comp and FLSA comp hours earned by district attorney staff as of April 21st, 2024 as requested to be paid from available funds in the district attorney's salary line item. We would like to table this at this time because we need to figure out some things in terms of how they want to move forward with the people that are gonna be coming in working but are not gonna become full-time employees. So how would you like to proceed here, because we have some discrepancies in terms of the amount of money? You want to table right now, because we do not have a job description for.
This is not related to that.
Oh.
This is a separate item.
Oh, okay,
The other
sorry.
item-
I'm thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Very well. I'll table the next one. Okay, this is the same thing that we did. The total amount requested is $31,718.15. The amount available for them to use is approximately $35,000, so they have the money available. Is based the same thing that we basically did for law enforcement and for the jail. They have money available.
Move second.
Commissioner Dubus, Commissioner Purvis, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, consider any and all necessary action related to agriculture plan for Harley Forward Ranch for lease of Polk County school land in Throckmorton County, Texas. Commissioner Purvis, I think this one's all yours.
Yes, ma'am, the Portwood family has requested to, I'll get the numbers wrong, I don't have them in front of me, but it's around 50 acres.
I think there's a copy in your
Yeah, but I can't find it.
Okay,
I mean,
we
it'll be
discussed
about
it
50
several
acres.
times.
And this year they want to put 9 acres into,
Native grasses.
native grass, wildlife mix type stuff instead of farming it. Because they tell me that every 10 years they actually make a crop. But in our leases, they have to farm it, so they farm it and say, luckily they make a crop of wheat every 10 years. And so they would just soon put it back in native grass and graze. And so this year, with their plan, they'll put 9 acres of it in there, so we'll have to take 9 acres off of the farming lease and put it on a grazing lease. Then next year, they'll turn the rest of it in to native grasses and everything, and then so it'll be just all grazing lease farm. And I've looked at it, it looked like pretty poor dirt to me anyway. You know, it's right on where it's located, it's right on the Salt Fork of the Brazos, which when it floods it, leaves the salt residue there, and if it's not native to that part of the world, it don't grow good anyway, I don't guess. So,
I think that would be-
I agree with them.
I don't have a problem with it, and especially if they're going to native grasses.
Yeah.
That's what was intended to be there to begin with. Anybody have any
Got any other
problems?
questions?
Your recommendation.
I so move that we do it.
Okay, Commissioner Purvis, second Commissioner Cassidy. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 13, receive audit on the procedures on Polk County Jail Commissary and inmate trust funds for fiscal year end September 30th, 2023. A copy of the report was included for your review. Axley and Rhodey has finished the required annual audit of the procedures for the jail commissary for the 2023 fiscal year. The only items that are mentioned noteworthy were that the bank reconciliations for the periods of February, March, and April were not completed in a timely manner, and that there were a large number of stale checks. However, the reconciliation issue was directly caused by the uncovering of the fraud, which now has been taken care of by the prior office manager. And so the issues have been resolved and corrected because they now have a new office manager in there, and they are now following procedures where there are two people looking at the information. Do you want to add anything to that?
Short and sweet, that's it.
Motion to
Okay.
approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Dubus, second Commissioner Cassidy. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, discuss and consider any and all necessary action related to reserve deputy pay during a declared disaster event. With the disaster event, we've had an increased need for law enforcement presence in strategic areas of the county. And we have reserve deputies that are not county employees, so they fall in a different category. So unfortunately, because we didn't have anything in our policy stating specifically that they could, that they would be paid by the county, then what we would like to do is we would like to go ahead and move forward with an MOU, with an understanding that those reserve deputies that are not county employees will also be paid for their time. So we put, you have a copy of the MOU in there for what it would mean. Now, part of it is that what would happen is that the reserve deputies that are interested in working those hours, that are not county employees, then they would notify emergency management that they're interested, and the sheriff's department would actually be who assigns them to a position, assigns them to a location, keeps up with their timesheets, because we do not want to interfere at emergency management. We don't want to interfere with any of the operations that the sheriff is doing. So it would have to go through the sheriff for approval and for appointment and being told where they need to go. So what we did is we came up with a compensation amount, and the policy would allow us to activate them, and if we keep this, if we maintain this, and we have another event, then we would be able to activate them again to provide assistance to the sheriff's department and to law enforcement, and be able to pay them. Because right now, because we don't have any policy, and then we're unable to. So I would like for us to move forward with that. If whatever we have that where we can pay those people that have worked for us, then certainly we want to compensate them for their time. And all of everything would be approved through the sheriff. One of the things, we had several things happen where especially law enforcement got stretched too thin. You had the shelter that required, some law enforcement presence. And then we had, of course, the roads that had to be checked on a continuous basis. And now we have checkpoints, and I've got to tell you all that having those checkpoints, as opposed to what happened during the tornado, worked fabulously. We turned around just in the first day or two, turned around lots of people that were coming into those neighborhoods, and in some cases, they already had their boats attached to their vehicle where they could put it in the water and come around to those homes and vandalize or steal from our residents. So having those checkpoints has been a tremendous, tremendous advantage to our residents, because that's allowed them to not have to worry about that and not have to worry about scammers coming in and offering them a song and a dance at a point in time when they are very, very vulnerable. During the tornado, we had people come in and tell, especially our elderly, when they're sitting there looking at this mass destruction, and they would tell them, hey, for $5,000, I'll take care of all of this for you, just give me $2,500 now and I'll be back tomorrow. They never saw them again. So we had a lot, so we learned a lot, unfortunately, from the tornado, but we applied it, and so far, I would say as major incidents go, I think Polk County has got a tremendous, tremendous team established. I think law enforcement has been wonderful, emergency management has done a great job. IT is stretched beyond their boundaries at this point in time. Aging stepped in to feed people. You see what I'm saying? Everybody, elected officials came and answered phones, and needless to say, our commissioners, their phone hasn't rung at all. They're just sitting around playing tiddlywinks in their office. Anyway, so I would like to move forward with being able to compensate reserve deputies during declared disasters.
Motion to approve on the second.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Dugas, Commissioner Purvis. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 15, discuss and ratify approval of resolution to submit application for Sheriff's Office Task Force Grant Program to the Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority. We received late notice of this. We received notice on April 30th, and so we were not able to bring it to the court for approval, which is actually what we should have done. But they've been working on a grant that is due on May 10th. So because it required court resolution and we weren't able to bring it to the court, then I went ahead and signed the resolution. But we did include it in here for your review, with the additional language that the sheriff accepts full responsibility for ensuring that all the grant requirements are followed, and he will notify the court and the auditor immediately in the event that those obligations, bless you, cannot be met. So I would like an approval for my signature. Commissioner Cassidy, Commissioner Purvis, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 16, discuss and consider revised memorandums of understanding between Polk County and Polk County Precinct 1 Constable for provision of Constable Reserve Deputy Patrol in Precinct 1 to include payment for services from Constable Precinct 1 asset forfeiture funds. So this is where the change, the modification was made in the MOU. And basically what we did was, instead of every time payments have to come out, the auditor and the treasurer have sat down with him and prepared an updated memorandum of understanding for Marcelo Rosario, Kent Martindale, and Mitch Newman that would allow the constable to pay these deputies, his reserve deputies, at a higher rate for any hours over 40 that were physically worked in a work week doing disaster response. Now these individuals are paid through seizure funds, and so the maintenance and documentation falls entirely under Constable Hughes at this time, because it's all seizure funds. We do not, all we do is accept the fact, acknowledge the expenditure, but we cannot tell them how to spend those monies. So I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Dubose,
Second.
Commissioner Cassidy, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 17, discussion and possible action to rescind the Commissioners Court action approving a notice of termination to Santec Environmental Services of Texas, LLC, for the collection, management, and marketing of landfill gas, which was approved on March 14th. So it says approved on May 14th, but then I have a correction.
Yes, sorry, the agenda language that
We're
was
having
given to
trouble
me by the
with our-
attorney
with
had the
our
wrong date
dates.
on it, so it should have been March
right? March 14th.
March 14th, yes.
Okay. March 14th, 2023. If you all will recall, this was the same information that we already discussed before, and it has to do with the fact that the agreements that were made with Santec, but Santec is now Republic, but because of the verbiage and the legalese that was involved, then technically we have to get rid of this, eliminate this one, the notice of termination, so that we can move forward with a second addendum that will actually be with Republic. So this is information we've already discussed. Republic is here if we would like to ask more questions. And also Eric McGee is available if we wish to go into executive session, but really we've already discussed this information. Do you all want to move forward? First is the termination to Santec Environmental Services, and then go on to the landfill gas obligations.
So moved.
Second.
Very well, Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Cassidy, any questions? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 18, discussion and possible action related to the second addendum to the landfill and municipal solid waste system operating agreement between the county and Santec Environmental of Texas LLC concerning their gas obligations. Which is the same thing. Basically what's going to happen is that they are going to capture the gas that is created at the landfill. They're going to capture the gas. It's going to go through their system for generation of power and electricity. And they will be providing the service, they will have all the equipment, everything is on them, and we will be receiving payments that will occur on a regular basis and bring additional revenue to the county that will help provide some relief for our taxpayers. Did I sum it up about right?
That's correct.
And he's available if you want to ask him any questions. We've only been discussing this for 2 years now.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
So moved.
Commissioner Cassidy, move forward. Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Cassidy, Commissioner Purvis, any further questions or discussion? All in favor say aye. Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Purvis. You're just lucky I had to do a workshop today, too.
You got that motion to adjourn.
Generally Commissioner Cassidy, so I gave him credit for it.
11:18.
Can I do a second?
Whichever.